episode two. It's episode dose, and today, where's my little consulting pad? Today we are talking about.
What are we talking about today, Nason?
The wonderful world of dating, attractions, dating. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about what makes a person attractive. We're going to talk about red flags. We love red flags. And then we're going to do a nice little fun game to wrap it out where Natalie is going to answer rapid fire questions.
Okay.
About life and relationships. So if anybody wants to date her, hit us with a DM. Okay. So welcome back to Oddly Juicy.
Yes.
This is Natalie.
Hi.
I'm Nason. We're friends. We're buddies. We're gonna talk. Gym friends.
Yes.
And we're gonna talk about the wacky wild shit. Okay, you ready to go?
We're ready.
Or you got anything to say to these guys?
Feedback. Feedback is always great. Please, like anything that you have to say, anything that you would like to have, I guess, more insight on. Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna make a poll for us on. We'll do like Google polls or whatever it's called.
Yes.
But I'll make like a submission database where you guys can like be like, oh my god, you should talk more about this story, or you should tell us about Natalie's exes, or Nason, what about you? Do you have any exes you want to talk about? Are they nightmarish? Who are they? And we'll just we'll answer this and figure it all out.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Ready to go.
Okay.
Let's go.
You ready for this?
Ready.
So unfortunately, I don't know if Natalie's this prepared. I sent her the questions, but then I wrote out my answers to the questions.
No, I am not prepared. So we're.
You know what? This is good. I have good talking points, so Natalie can add or take away.
Yes, correct.
Okay. The first question of the day. What's the number one thing that makes someone instantly attractive?
Instantly attractive. I like it when somebody is genuine, honest, has a nice sense of humor, for sure, is very attractive. Intellectual. I mean, you can banter back and forth, you can joke around and whatever, but like have conversations that are adult. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, just somebody who's pretty much like, I wouldn't say necessarily well together, because all of us have stepping stones that we're in different phases of our life, but at least have some sort of idea of like where you are, like you're grounded to some degree. Do you know what I mean? Like you have a good job, you have stability is a big thing. That's very attractive. You know what I mean? And just like the points like that to me is what I find attractive. And to you, what would that be for?
So when I was thinking of this question, lots of things came to mind, but I tried to really
narrow it down
to like the core principles of what makes somebody attractive to me.
Okay.
And like, I mean, everybody has. I kind of took how they look out of it because I realized it's kind of a slippery slope into how that direction. Because to everybody, it's like, of course, how someone looks is going to take into account, that's going to be part of why you choose to date someone.
Correct.
So I was like, okay, I shouldn't go into that. So I looked at like what qualities, and I think really what qualities is like confidence. Confidence is very sexy and it's a very nice trait. And we're not talking arrogance, we're talking confidence. So that person is sure of who they are, they understand their place in the world, they understand what they're doing. That I'm okay being me is very sexy.
Yep.
I had energy. That was a big one.
That's a big one too.
I was, so when I wrote these questions out, I was sitting there and I was listening to this like mix track, and I was listening on my big speakers, and there was like this undertone of piano that kind of like totally sent me into a trance.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my god, the answer to this question is energy.
Yes.
Having a good energy, and not just having a good energy around you and what they put onto you, but having a good energy what they put out into the world. I mean, the case is like the best one that I've heard consistently is how people treat like wait staff when you go out to restaurants.
Yes.
That energy that they pour out into the world, how people look at them, talk to them, interact with them.
Yes.
You notice the people that are kind of dickheads.
Yes.
You notice that everybody treats them like a dickhead.
Correct.
Because they put that out there into the world. So energy was a big one. What else did I say? Okay. Genuine enthusiasm. Being excited about life.
Okay.
I like people who are excited about life. I like
Okay.
people who care about life, who want to live the best life.
Yes.
So being enthusiastic, being like, life is exciting.
Yeah.
And then I liked your points about stability
Yes.
and having a career and something you've committed to with life and
Yes.
taking like, I am a person.
Yes.
And I'm a person that does things. I have work. I have hobbies. I do this thing I do paint night on Wednesday night.
Yes.
Natalie paints on Wednesday night. That's why I said that. So it's like I do paint night on Saturdays. I go to this bar and I order this beer or like whatever. Just things that turn like texturing of your personality.
Yeah.
And then obviously just like the typical eye contact and body posture.
Yes.
Just being confident, and it goes back to confidence, stems back into confidence and being an assuredness, self-assurance, where it's like, this is who I am and this is how I feel.
Yeah. To add to that though, I think on top of that, for me, motivation is a really good thing too. And being your own person and being able to have hobbies and qualities that you like as an individual and you keep that separate. So regardless if you are dating, in a relationship, whatever it may be, you still have your own identity. That to me is very attractive and very sexy because you can still be doing all those good things, but you could still go to the gym. You're making time for yourself. You're making time for all those things that you like to do that doesn't necessarily have to deal with the other person that you're with.
Right. You're shaving, you're getting haircuts.
Yes.
You're grooming yourself.
Yes.
You're taking care of yourself. You're
100%.
getting massages, pedicures.
Yes. Absolutely.
Whatever else.
Those are definitely like key points to me.
It's true because like if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of anything else?
I agree.
And especially from the woman's side.
I agree.
It's like you're looking for a man who can take care of you.
I agree. 100%.
You heard it here first, boys. Smarten up or get the fuck out.
Next.
Okay. Now that we've done something positive,
yes,
let's do something negative.
Okay.
What is a first date mistake that kills attraction? I think right before this episode we were talking about a great one.
Go on.
Making it sexual way too quick. I get it. You like the girl or you like the guy. You notice that he has big arms or big other things. You notice that the girl's got a big bunda. Whatever the case is. But it's a first date. And to be fair, there's always outliers to every situation.
100%.
So you could hit it off and it could go right to that.
Yes.
But usually a first date is like, who is this person? How are they?
Yes.
Let me see if we're compatible in some capacity.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
You thought that was like a deal breaker on the first date?
If you make it too sexual.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Being like rude too, like in general. Like again, going back to like wait staff. Like if you go out and you're out having a nice dinner or something simple, and you're just being rude and you're kind of like complaining about a lot of things, that's very unattractive to me. There are different ways to handle that. And sometimes people just don't have filters when they go out. It just clicks off automatically. You know what I mean? Because they're not, I guess sometimes people are nervous. Sometimes, and it happens, right? But it's like their character shouldn't show on your first date. Like, do you know what I mean? That is something, and I mean, everybody's different, but that is something that you should kind of like keep on the back burner. But it's good to if people do that, because then you know that that's not the person for you. You know what I mean? So things like that I find are very unattractive. Like stuff like, like going back to like the whole like talking about sex, any type of innuendo on that, it's like you don't really want to hear like, ooh, like your arms are a bit. Okay, yeah, it boosts a man's ego, but it's kind of like, really, like there are other things you could talk about.
There's other things to talk about, and it starts moving you away from this is a partner for me, and it moves you back to, oh, this could be some fun. Right? So you lose that, you lose, it's a respect thing. And when you make it too sexual too quick, now there's a difference. If you say like wow, you obviously go to the gym a lot because you have like really nice arms. Yeah. That's a nice respectable comment. But if you make it like, oh god, those arms. Yeah. The respect dwindles little by little. Yeah. Or on the guy's side, if you say, wow, you look very beautiful, I love the dress, and the color's really nice on you, that's a really nice compliment. Saying, wow, that your ass sure is fat, girl's gonna be like, okay.
Yeah. So, to that note too, like what you said, it's like not having a filter. Like some people, manners, big deal breaker.
As they say in Kingsman, manners maketh man.
Yeah, very big deal breaker because it's like you can say it. People talk jokingly, okay, and I understand that. I get it. We talked about sensitivity in our last podcast and how the world has just become very sensitive, about certain things. But a lot of things, a man or woman just you don't need to say things that are just unnecessarily being called out. You know what I mean? Like sometimes a comment will be made or like, oh, do you go to the gym? Because you could just kind of, maybe you shouldn't have that, or maybe you should eat this. And that's happened to me, and I'm looking at the person, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is a fucking first date in my head. And I'm like, you're gonna tell me what I should eat and what I shouldn't eat, and you're basically telling me how I look without telling me how I look.
Right, it's like subtleties. Well, that already shows that you guys aren't compatible.
Absolutely.
Because it's like you should love the person how they are.
Absolutely.
And you should be interested in them where they are at.
That's why the attraction is first before you go and you pose the first date, right?
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. Next question. Or topic, I should say. Yeah.
Wow, Natalie. Yeah, we can go to the next question. No problem.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. This is back to positive, or it could be negative.
Okay.
No, it's positive. What's an underrated? Or it doesn't even have to be underrated, but what's a personality trait that makes somebody irresistible?
Oh, that's
makes
a good question. Irresistible. Oh, what's your take on that? Maybe I can come up with something.
Let me consult my notes.
Yes.
Okay, I said this one, and it's a cheapo because it's relevant to me.
Okay.
Ambition.
Yeah, so
being
motivation.
Ambitious. Yeah, motivation,
Yeah.
but motivation fails. Motivation fails because motivation lacks discipline.
Yes.
But being ambitious, and I will clarify because I can hear Liz in my ear right now. Ambition, but not a workaholic.
Yes.
You want big things for yourself. You want to be the best person you can be, and ambition doesn't have to just be in work. It can also be in working out and living, loving, whatever, all those things. But wanting to grow and be the best person that you can be, having that ambition for life and taking the bull by the horns. That I feel like is a personality trait that really, really resonates with people.
Yeah.
And not just romantic partners. I feel like everywhere in the world, everybody respects somebody who you're like, okay, you want the best for yourself.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Yeah. But to add to that point, I think when it comes down to even dating, relationships, friendships, whatever, the ambition is more like you see that in a positive trait in somebody, but you also end up being like,
no smoke, sorry, man.
You also be like, okay, I like that. So then you start taking notes for yourself, and then it's kind of like the energy shifts, right? So then if people are open to that type of stuff, then the energy of the ambition will shift from that one person and like a ripple effect and go on to the next. You know what I mean? So you're kind of like you're gauging them and you're understanding where their ambition is and how it lies and how they've achieved that or are still continuing to achieve that. And you're like, you know what? If they can do it, whatever that may be, I can do it too.
Yes.
In my own capacity or whatever.
Exactly.
Is, right? Yeah. So I think that's a really big, good positive. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say negative, but more like
I wouldn't
positive.
say no.
A positive trait.
Maybe at the extremes of it, negative.
Yeah.
But definitely like having somebody who knows what they want and is actively working towards that. Like you said, it rubs off on you. It's all positive.
Yeah.
Another trait that I thought was playfulness.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like you're talking about like playful banter.
Well, not even playful banter, but somebody who like isn't scared to have fun.
Okay. Yes.
Right. It's like you're okay to laugh.
Yes.
And you're okay to make jokes, and you're like all pleasant.
Yeah.
Not like the sexual side.
No. Yeah.
Or anything like that. Any weird shit like that. It's all just somebody who enjoys life.
Yeah.
Who can walk down the street and then all of a sudden somebody's spinning around a light post and singing in the rain or.
I think of it as being like a little kid.
Yes.
That's how I am, right?
Yes.
So there are times when it's just like I'll just talk about whatever. Or like if I'm out somewhere and I'm out walking with somebody, I'll just like act like like crazy, but not crazy bad, like crazy like a little kid, right? Because it's like I'm always like that. Every once in a while, I like to like just kind of like be a little bit playful because it's you just want to take away from being so serious and being an adult, even if it's just for a few seconds. You know what I mean? Every once everyone's got stresses, everyone's got whatever. So having that playful side is definitely a really good thing to have, you know, especially like when you're dating somebody or whatever the case may be. It's always good to have that. I also like when somebody's like, it's easy to talk to. Like conversations are very easy flowing. That to me is a big attractive thing. When I've noticed when I'm dating, when you have tension, you can feel it. Anybody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. You're talking to somebody, whether it's out for a coffee or whatever, there's that awkward silence that goes around. And you're like, okay, so you're not going to talk about the weather because that's a typical stupid conversation that people have. You know what I mean? You're not necessarily going to be asking those regular, normal questions. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? Because that's like, goes back to like the basics. It's like, sometimes those conversations don't even happen. They happen later on, but it's nice to have a conversation about just anything. You know what I mean? Obviously within reason, but that the conversation can like flow. I like that. That to me is very attractive. That's like a really good thing for me because it's like I feel good, and when I'm feeling good, it's like when I'm done the date, I feel like I'm happy that things went well, and that there's the vibe and the energy was on point, to the point that it's mysterious enough that I would like to see more of that person and get to know more of that person, and not about their favorite color, not, you know, things like that.
Not the stupid small talk bullshit.
Yeah, because that's all small talk. So having an actual adult conversation is, to me, very attractive. Like you can talk about whatever again, right? And it's easy, and obviously as you talk and you converse, if you end up finding out either you have the same type of perspective, or you know, you're able to like talk about certain topics that aren't gonna, you know, break the bank kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you're easily able to like gauge things. You know what I mean? So it's easy for you to converse as if you're talking like to a friend, obviously, but somebody that you're possibly interested in.
Yeah.
So yeah, those things I find are very important to me, at least, and I find attractive.
What else did I say?
What else did you say?
Well, interesting. I actually said, I said two. One we haven't talked about, but self-sufficiency, which was looping back to our point about having a life outside of dating.
Yes.
So you're not like, I'm going looking for a relationship. I'm looking for a significant other.
Yes.
As somebody who I can actively pursue that side of life with. Not because I'm scared and lonely and don't have friends and don't have anything to do. It's not that. I'm just looking to extend my life and potentially look at kids and, you know, marriage and all that kind of stuff. So self-sufficiency was one of them, as well as taking care of yourself, being financially stable, comfortable, all of that. Yeah. All the polishing aspects. Yes. And then another thing I said is curiosity. And curiosity in the sense of like actively asking you questions. Yes. Like they want to hear your answers. Yes. What do you do for a living? Oh, you know, I do this. Yeah. Well, what does that take? Yeah. Oh, we're actually having a conversation. Yeah. And you're not just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ask you what you do so I can, you know, evaluate this, and this. Yeah. It's like they actually genuinely are like, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? Yeah. What makes you tick? Who are you? Like, why do you love being that person? Yada yada yada. Yeah. 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 I think that those are all good valid points. Good valid points. Yes, absolutely. All right. Red flags. Ooh. What to watch out for. The ongoing joke. Fire. All these little red flags going. No. Stay away. Yeah. Stay away. Yes. Okay, first question. Yes. As you're giggling away there. Well, there's a two-parter to this. Okay. It goes a little personal in the second part. Okay. All right. What's a red flag people ignore but absolutely shouldn't? So we're talking big red flags. Natalie may know one or two. What are yours? Let's go with what are yours? Or any. Okay. These I had in mind what would spark an interesting conversation with us. Okay. Over-the-top love bombing. Oh God, yes. Absolutely red flag. Okay? Like not light red. No. Not red. like fucking fire truck bright red. That's right. You run. If you're like, wow, they're doing so much for me and everything they're doing is just pouring into me. You run. Yes. You fucking run. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. Red flags.
the I love yous right away. Who? What? What is that all about? Okay? Like, who says I love yous within, like, a couple of months? No. Yeah. No. You don't.
You grow into
that.
it.
Exactly.
You grow into the I love yous.
Yeah,
I love yous
exactly.
together.
Yeah.
You know, it starts with hey, okay, have a good night. You know, sweet dreams. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Grows into that. It grows into that. It's not fucking. I think I'm in love with you.
I know. What else is another red flag for you?
Inconsistent communication.
Oh! Nason knows all about that.
Oh yeah.
He knows all about that. Yes. When you're doing the whole like, good morning, how are you? And then it's like every day for weeks, and let's say you're dating, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like sporadic, and you're like, huh? What happened to the good mornings? What happened to the good nights?
Hey, good morning. Is everything all right?
Yeah.
2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't near my phone. You weren't near your phone in 2
bullshit.
days?
Yes, yet you see them online, and you know that they're talking to other people online. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that. Red flag right there. I don't care, man. No.
Posting those nice photos.
Right?
Somebody's what is it? Somebody's mother's daughter's whatever.
Future husband.
Yeah, whatever the fuck. Posting
Yeah.
weird shit.
Yeah. Or another red flag is, oh, you're not allowed to have guy friends. You're not allowed to have girlfriends. Excuse me. Who are you? As far as I'm concerned, someone in my world right now is going through that, and I was like, listen, honey, your friends, male or female, will be there, have been there before your man, your woman, whatever, and guess what? They're gonna be there after your man or your woman. So anybody that fucking tells you can't have female friends, you can't have male friends, fuck that shit. That's a fucking red flag. Okay?
Exactly. Now, we're not saying manipulating.
Yes. Well, that's another red flag.
Manipulate.
Yeah.
We're saying you're allowed to have friends. That's okay. Now, if you're going to your friend's house and sucking his dick, that is an issue.
I don't see anything. I don't know anything. And
No. I just like there is a balance, and I understand guys flagging that, but you're allowed to have friends, and if somebody starts cutting off all your friends, they're trying to isolate you, and that's a big red flag.
No bueno. No bueno. Or another red flag that I've had happen to me, maybe not necessarily a date. I'm there, okay? Person's talking, we're talking, whatever. They snatched my phone from me right out of my hand. I was like, excuse me. That was my phone in my own hand. And you're scrolling through it. What the fuck are you scrolling through my phone? Did I ask you to do that? No.
Wait, this was a guy? This was like on a date? Were you in a relationship?
It wasn't a date, but this guy liked me. And this
is like a random dude.
I've seen him from time to time, right?
No, like you knew him.
Yeah,
but it's still like it's not like it's like your 6-year-long man.
No, not at all. And he's sitting across from me at the table, and I'm on my phone, and he just, and I was like, huh? And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm putting my number in your phone. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, because they were doing this, and I'm like, what the fuck? What? No, that red flag. Red flag. Whether or not you were trying to pursue me, which they were.
Yeah, but
you still don't do that.
That's a lack of boundaries.
Oh, 100%.
And respect. And
that's another red flag. Lack of boundaries.
Lack of boundaries. But this 100%. All goes in. This is all like under the category of manipulation.
Yes.
Because it's all these things that they pry at. That anybody who's looking, and the interesting thing about manipulation I found is the person usually isn't aware that they're doing it.
No.
I shouldn't say that because there are some malicious manipulators.
Yes.
But usually they're looking for an end goal, and the end goal is like isolating you because they want more love from you. So if I take away all your connections around that, then I'll get more of the love.
Right.
Or
what about like twisting your words around and then making you look like you're the fucking crazy one when you're not?
Gaslighting.
Yes. Hence why I ask my friends, I'm like, okay, so this situation happened, whatever.
What happened,
A, B, or C. Am I wrong to think that I was the one in the wrong? And my friends, Nason and the 5 a.m. crew is like, fuck that. No, what are you talking about? That's a big red. I'm like, okay, so it's not me. I'm being gaslighted. And he's like, yeah, you're fucking being
terrible.
Gaslighted.
It's horrible when they can do that. Like, it's amazing how they can twist your words in such a way that makes you go, maybe I am being ridiculous.
Yeah, but when you point it out as that person and you're saying, listen, you're telling me this A, B, and C, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, no, yeah, you were like that. No, you're like, and I have come out and actually said, you're gaslighting me on the phone, text, whatever. Stop doing that. No, that's not what I'm doing. You, a man or woman can't backpedal from shit. Like, once it's out there and you've already said it, don't even try it. Because, like, honestly, people who have been more experienced and everything like that and know these things will know right away that that's, no bueno. Like, no go on that.
Have you heard the joke about the gaslighter?
No.
Yes, you have.
I have?
Yeah, you have.
Corny, but
fucking
nice.
stupid joke, but I like that joke.
So if you guys have any comments as to, like, add on to that, red flags, please let us know.
And stories too. We like stories.
Yes, we do.
Now, maybe we should start a Reddit page.
Oh.
Because what I was thinking about earlier, and this is the next question I'm going to ask you. This is our deep dive second.
Okay.
A lot of the things people tell us, they probably don't want to have, like, own accountability.
Yes.
Or not own accountability, because that sounds wrong, but they don't want to have it be like, I'm this person, I'm Adam connected to this story, because it's about, an ex or whatever. I don't want it to be out there on the internet.
Yes.
Especially if it blows up on, our podcast and everything.
100%,
So what I was thinking is maybe we should do, the r/oddly juicy, and whatever the episode is, we have all these questions that get posted, and we have people reply to it with their stories and everything. So that's what we're gonna do.
Make it juicy.
We're gonna make it juicy. Make it juicy. Juicy fruit.
Yeah.
Juicy fruit. Things are gonna move. Yeah. Okay, the personal take. What's a red flag you ignored that turned out to be a major issue? Now, I know Nathalie, and Nathalie has dealt with some pretty interesting men. So I'm going to say, what is the one that's the freshest, the hardest, whatever you want to go into, the big one, the big red flag, the one that, like, shot out of the ground like an American flag on the pole, waving in the wind, that you're like, whoa, that's bad.
The gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
Yeah, especially that one post that was posted when I thought we were in a relationship, but clearly we fucking weren't in a relationship, even though they were like, oh, I love you. Yeah. Anyways, I was like, hells to the no. I sent this, I was with this guy, and sent to this note, the last topic that we were just talking about, posted this picture and said this fucking shit underneath it. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I thought I was the crazy one. And I was like, no, I said, care to explain this. And I was told, what, now I can't post anything on my status? It's not about posting it. It's about the fact that what you said underneath your post is like, I thought we were in a relationship.
Why are you posting shit like this? Yeah. When
they read it, did they ever comment and say, oh, baby, yeah, we're in a relationship? No, they clearly avoided that whole thing and said, oh, well, what are you talking about? I should be able to post whatever I want. Yeah, fuck you. Like, fuck you. The gaslighting was unreal.
Right, always pulling away, always like you're saying, hey, this is an issue that I have a problem with.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, you have a problem with, and then they take a small cut and puts it in their favor, puts them on equal footing.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
There was a lot of gaslighting in that last one. And it was more like, oh, how are you able to help me? Bro, I fucking helped you in many ways than one. Okay, so.
You know what, this is interesting, because this goes into what I would say if you ask me the same question reverse.
Go on.
Emotional gaslighting.
Yeah.
Because I have dealt with, like, that was the hardest thing, I think, to get around, especially when you care about people.
Yes.
And it's somebody that you're romantically interested in.
Yes.
The worst that I found was when you're getting mad at somebody, or or I say getting mad, but, like, you have a problem with something, you're setting a boundary, you're explaining that's not okay, whatever, and then the waterworks start, the tears start, the anger starts. It's like, they're like, oh my God, you're making me upset because you're causing this big issue when I would never do that to you. And it's the emotional side. You never help me. You don't care about me.
Yeah.
You blah, 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 blah. It makes you go, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. But in the meantime, you have done everything that you possibly could as that person in a relationship to be there for them, whether that was emotional, you know, or anything like that, or if they needed help with any other situation, you were there. But yet, when they start getting all upset, it's like they forget all those things that have happened. And it's just like, hello? And it's just having, like, I hated having to repeat the same fucking shit over again. I'm like, did you not just remember that I did this? I drove you here and brought you there. I spent the whole summer with you on my dime. Bro, nah. On my dime. Okay? And I'm like, you're gonna go get all upset and have a hissy fit and, you know, tell me, oh, I don't want to hear about this bullshit. You're stressing me. Then you know what? If I'm stressing you, bye. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, the door is right there. Don't hit yourself on the way out. Like,
don't let the door hit you where Mother Nature split you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good topic. I love this topic.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this one I found funny when I wrote it. I see all the time stories, memes, videos, whatever, about icks.
Okay.
You know what an ick is?
Explain what's an ick.
An ick is like you're at a date and you love this guy so much. You're like, wow, he's so funny. He's charming. He's sweet. He does all these things great. And then he picks his nose and eats it. And it's like, or like the funny ones are like I was in love with this guy until he invited me to his hockey game. And I saw that he ties his skates by wrapping the laces around his ankles, and now I can't.
It's more like a
yeah
on the wall, like your nails on the chalkboard.
Exactly. And it's like no matter what you try and tell yourself, you can't get past what that happened.
What's yours?
Well, I mean, I went practical with it. I was like, oh, I could go into like the stupid ones.
Yeah.
I say stupid ones. They're not stupid. Everybody's valid. All your points are valid.
Yes.
You guys should put some of your icks in the comments because they're kind of funny. And like, there's some videos where it's like, oh, I love this guy so much, and then he like pushed a shopping cart, and I just yuck. And then it cuts to a guy, and he goes, oh, and he opens his notes app, and it'll be like note, and it'll be number 765 of things that guys can't do. Push a shopping cart, and then above it is like, say I love you to my mom, or like anything like that.
Yeah.
But no, I wrote realistic ones. Okay. I wrote ones
such as
weird flexes.
Weird flexes, like
weird flexes. Like I one of my icks is that I love when people are proud of their accomplishments, but when people are weird about their accomplishments, when they're like out of the blue, like I just put $15,000 in my bank account yesterday.
Oh, so like boasting.
It's like boasting, because it's like boasting's a good word actually, because it's like a negative bragging, boasting, like that kind of way. But it's like there's a certain element that's great. Like if you got a new job and you're proud of it, great. Tell me. Yeah. I'm excited to hear for you. I'll clap for you.
100%.
But there's just that fine line where it's like, yeah, I kind of got a big dick, and it's like, okay, chill.
Like your story.
A fucking absolute hog. Yeah.
One of my icks is if I go on a date, or if I'm out or whatever, or I'm dating somebody. One of my, I would say it's more like a pet peeve, is when the person I'm supposed to be with is walking ahead of me or walking behind me.
Oh.
So I'm not saying to necessarily say hold hands, although that has been an issue with the last one, because it was like they picked and chose
public affection.
Yeah. And I mean, there's everybody's level of PDA, especially with
you gotta
other
get
people.
You know what? Just to add quickly, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Anybody who has PDA issues, just get over that shit. You got to be able to kiss your man or your woman in public. Yeah. Or hold hands or hug them.
And I'm not saying like dry hump, okay?
No,
or like,
okay, that's ridiculous. That's excessive.
But you know what I mean? Like there's levels of it. And of course, when you're with your partner, you're going to know what those boundaries are. You're going to understand them, because you're going to have a talk, or they're going to move in a certain way that's like, okay, you're not cool with that, right? So you're gonna pick up on those social cues. But it's people that just kind of like, we're supposed to be together, and we're walking on a path. This is a prime example. This happened many times. We're walking down just like a regular walk path at the park. Mm-hmm. I'm on one side of the path. You're on the other side of the path. What the hell is that? What is that? Or, you hold hands one moment, the next day, you're not holding hands anymore. It's like, what is that? Why? Why are you doing those things? It's like, that's like the same thing as like saying like you have consistency and then there's no consistency. That to me is like a big ick, because it's like, I get it. Like, every day is different and whatever, but it's like, if you're gonna be consistent and be out there and show people who you're with or whatever, or that you're dating somebody, be proud of the person that you're with.
Yes.
100%.
Because why are you dating them if you're not proud of the person you're with?
Exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And if you want to hide your other ting-ting or side piece or whatever, listen, do what you need to do. But honestly, women and men, I don't tell you, like, I'll always say the same thing. Certain people will appreciate those things. Certain people like those things. Obviously, cultures are different. That's fine, and whatever. But it's like, if you have somebody that you're with and they're telling you, hey, can we try doing this a little bit more often? Take note of that, at least. Yep. And be understanding about that. And as well as the other person should be understanding that maybe they're not really cool with the whole PDA, but that they'll try. And that's fine. Say that you're going to try. But talk the talk.
Don't just say it.
But walk the walk,
We need smoke and fire. We can't just have smoke.
That's right. I don't want
no smoke. I want fire, baby.
Yeah, we want actions. Like, actions speak a lot louder than words. I'm telling you that right now. I am very big on that, and as I'm getting up and dating more and whatever, I cannot deal, and I shut that down. If you are not going to come at my table and sit at me and be like, we're going to talk, but you're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, we should do this down the line if I'm dating that person consistently, right? Okay, so now that we've dated for a minute, start talking about and start doing these things that you said that you were going to do. Because if you're not going to be doing those things, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you even talking to me about that? Do you know what I mean? That's a big ick for me. Yep. I cannot stand that. I'm tired of that shit.
And boys, I'm about to give you some sauce right here. Right? Notepads out, phone apps out. When you're walking with a woman, not only should you match their speed, this is a romantic interest. Now, general women, match their speed, be with them. Romantic interest, you make sure as the man that you are always on the street side. And you can do this with any woman you're with. As a man, you should do this. As a gentleman,
yes,
you should do this.
Yes.
You always walk with the man on the street side with the woman. Now, if you're romantically involved, hold her hand, walk with her on your arm, whatever the case is. If you're not romantically involved, just walk on the street side and put the woman on the inside.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple reasons for that. Safety, all of that. But the story on why this is a thing. So if you were walking with a woman back in the day, I think, I can't remember what time period it was, but if you had a woman facing on the street side, that was an indication to everybody else that this is a woman who is available. Okay. A hoe, if you would. And it was like a prostitute. Okay. Like, this is a woman who you don't respect and don't value. You're with her,
yes,
but you're not protective of her. It's not your woman.
Yes.
There isn't that, I say ownership, but I don't mean ownership as like a man over a woman. Yeah. But it's not like, this is my partner.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to indicate that this is my wife, this is my woman, you would put her on the inside on your arm.
Yes.
Because the outside indicated that she was for the streets.
Yes.
As the saying goes.
Yes. And I have to say to that note, I did date a guy who was like that. And I have not had that happen, I'm telling you, in years.
It's an unknown thing.
It is. So I was very shocked when that happened, because they kind of like shuffled over really quickly. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm walking in the outside by the street side. So the cars, it was a joke, because he was like saying, oh yeah, because if we get hit, I'm going to get hit.
I'll stop the car. Whatever.
And I'm
nonsense.
like, really? And he's like, well, yeah, the man should be, and that's when he said, yeah, the man should walk. I'm like, okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That was very like a thing that, like I said, I have not experienced at all since I was younger. So that whole thing.
Two things. Okay. And I'm going to add on to this. Open the fucking door for your woman. Open the fucking door for your woman. Yeah. And okay, I'm going to add on for the ladies.
Yes.
Ladies, give them a chance.
Yeah.
The boys nowadays, I get it. I was there myself. I still fail sometimes not thinking about it. I'll admit to that. So ladies, give your man a chance. Allow him to earn that place, and just say to him like it's okay to be like, oh, can you be on the street side? Oh, could you open the door for me? It's okay to say those things because part of a relationship is that you got to work with them.
Yes.
Now, if he doesn't get the memo after you've done it a couple times, like once, twice, 3 times, if he doesn't start at least trying to do it,
yes,
then at that point, okay, it might be time
reevaluate.
Time to reevaluate. But that is a key thing. Like with Liz currently, that was something that I sucked at. Oh, in the beginning.
Oh, like opening doors, you mean? Like
Opening doors? Yeah. No, well, opening doors I was fine. Okay. But car doors, I would just be like, I'd unlock the car. Oh, okay. And then I'd just be like, get in your seat.
Get in, woman.
Right. Like I'd be walking it, like if we're approaching the front of the car. Yeah. I would just start going to my side and she'd go to her side. Right. And she's not gonna give me shit for it because whatever. Yeah. But it was just one of those things of it'd be nice. Yeah. And I was thinking about this and I was like, you know what though? I'm sure I'm going to have a daughter. I have a feeling that I'll probably have a boy first, then a girl. Always indication. But I want my daughter to see me as a dad opening the door for her mom. Yes. Because I want my girl to be like, yeah, that's what my dad does for my mom all the time. Yes. And when a guy goes and picks her up, if he doesn't open the door for her, I want her to be like, nah, that's not the guy for me, and walk back inside. That's what I want. So that's what I'm going to put out there into the world. So ladies, help your man out. Tell him. Men, start doing it. Yes. Simple as that.
I always think of it as, to your point, I always think of it as my daughter. Would I want the person that I'm dating be the type of man or boy that I want my daughter to date? And vice versa for a guy, for my son to be dating a girl. Is that the type of person that you can see your child dating? Because if it's not, I don't know. Like, obviously, you got to understand, like, that there are certain, what is the word? Certain things that we look for. Certain, you know, our list of qualities that we want in a particular person. So you obviously want to have the best for your offspring, your children, right? So obviously, abuse, any type, is ex-nay, whatever. That's a whole different other topic. But you do want the qualities that you would want in your person to be somewhat the same qualities that you would want your child to see date. Because it's just kind of like, and remember, it's always a reflection of who you date. Little eyes are always watching and how you are observing. So they're taking note and they copycat. You know that, right?
That's
we all know that. So you want to set a standard, like a proper standard, even for your siblings. That, okay, you know what? This is not to be tolerated. You shouldn't tolerate that. Yeah. I'm not tolerating it. So if I'm not tolerating
it, you guys see that and you don't tolerate it.
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I always go back to the daughter point because daughters are more, I think it was like in the study. Oh, hold on.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Daughters base their romantic attraction on men. Yes. Based on the values of their father. Yes. Versus men don't. There's a distinct difference that I'm completely forgetting right now. Yep. Boys won't base it on the values of their mother. They look for attraction points or like they look for value points of like, oh, this is what I learned is a mother, so this is what I should look for in a woman. But it's not the same value points that the daughters connect. Like daughters are just more connected to their dads in that way. Yeah. And the dad is more a role model. Is all I'm saying. Than how boys see moms. Different.
Yeah. I've read a lot of memes about that too, where it's like men will date women who are like their moms. Have you seen those? When I'm like, oh, that's kind of ick. Like,
it's true though.
Why? Like if your mom was like, oh, that's like.
Well, but this is like they have value from that.
I know.
So it's like no, it's fucked up. It's like you have. This is what my grandma always says. Yeah. So my grandma is.
Nason's grandma is hilarious. I love your stories with your grandma, by the way.
So my grandma's what is she now? I think she's 81, 82, and she's been single for a while. She's dated and everything, but she gets the couple icks and the red flag, and she goes, whoa. And her famous saying is that she would love to have a partner and to travel the world with and enjoy all these things. Yeah. But all the men want at her age or in that area is a nurse or a purse. They want somebody to take care of them or they want somebody to pay for everything. So it's not it's not that equilibrium of love.
No.
It's just that they want some form of motherly value, motherly or financial value. So my grandma's pretty fucking funny.
I love your grandma.
A nurse or a purse. She's like, I know he just wants a nurse. I was like, oh, so he has money, and she's like, yeah, he has money, but he wants a nurse. I'm like, oh no. And then the other guy is like, oh no, he's really sweet and like he's fine, he can take care of himself, but he needs a purse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The last question before our exciting little game.
Yes. What's that?
Are people
yes
too quick to judge red flags, or should they always trust their gut? So here's the thing. If you're out on a date and the guy is rude to the waiter, says a rude comment to him.
Yes.
Should you get up and be like, I won't tolerate that and leave? Or, well, in that case, that's a bad example, because in that case, I would get up and leave.
Okay.
Like, I'd pay the bill, I'd tip the server, and I would say, look, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
And I'd leave.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave you here. But if you see, in an argument, for example, if they get really mean, should you end it there? Or...
okay.
Or do you understand that, okay, they're mad, we're having a disagreement, I'm going to work on this person? Or does it turn back into, well, it depends on the value from the person. If you see a long-term relationship, if you see a level of attraction from this person, then it's worth working through these issues. Versus if there's so little to stand on, so little ground to stand on.
So are we basing this, is this question based on first dates, or is this based on, like, you've gone out on a couple dates with this person?
Whatever
or
case.
Either. Okay.
We could talk, it's just more like, are people too quick to judge red flags?
In this day and age, I'm going to be honest, yes. I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you women in general, because as we get older, I'm sure a lot of women can understand this, we do not tolerate bullshit anymore, because we have been through it. We've experienced it through many different forms and many different aspects. I'm not trying to sound feminine by like a feminist in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that women we hold ourselves to higher standards now. There's more terminology of us being our own self-worth. That's a big thing. Women, we know our own self-worth, okay? Like, we know what we should have. People being, like, especially men, we should know what they should be investing in us as women, what they should be doing correctly and what they shouldn't. Because, listen, you men have been out there from time. Whether you have children, you don't have children, baby and mama drama, I don't give a shit. Situations, doesn't matter. You know how to treat a woman, and a woman can sniff that shit. A lot of them women don't, because we're, you're attracted, so that's the first thing, right? But, after a while, you sniff that shit out, and you start fucking weeding them out, because it's like, you know what, no, I gave you a chance, you sounded really cool, but in person, you're a complete fucking dick, you know what I mean? Like, you're everything that I've dated already, you just talked the talk, again, but you didn't, you weren't doing everything, and you're not really who you say you are, you know what I mean? So I think that, from a woman's point of view, honestly, if a woman, like, is in that mindset, which a lot of us are, no. You're gonna be like, okay, might not cut it right away. Some will, but a lot of them will be like, after the first date, they'll send you text and be like, hey, you know what? Thank you for whatever, but I'm just not feeling this. So it's better that we just go our own ways.
And you know what? I think it's okay that there's two sides of this. I think it's okay that the barrier to entry is a lot higher, especially like involving yourself romantically, because on the other side, there is so many more options in the world.
Yes.
The world has become a lot smaller of a place.
Yep.
Because of the internet, because of social media, because of...
Yep.
You can access much more people.
100%.
And I think... Well, it's two things. There's two parts to this. There's a negative and there's a positive. A positive is you can really find the person that you connect with the best. And there is going to be a person that you go... Now, you might have to go out 1,000 times with people. But you will find the person who you go, wow, this is my person. Yeah. Like, this is my significant other.
Right.
So there's that positive. But on the other side, I think that it just... Because the dating pool is so large, because the amount of people is so large, I think a lot of people get left in the dust. And especially if you're not actively growing and self-reflecting on why that date didn't go well, what was the issue, why was I an asshole, what was the problem. If you're not actively self-reflecting, you can get stuck in a spiral of, why is it every time I go out with a woman, she like leaves me at the table or just like doesn't show interest in me?
Yeah, but I'm finding that a lot of my friends, men and women, these days are finding that you're going on all these dates because you think that there's some sort of potential that you want to meet them and whatever, but at the same time they're telling me that it's tiring because you're actively engaging with 2-3 people at the same time, and you're having different conversations, and you're trying to gauge, okay, yeah, you're trying to meet up with them or you're not, or whatever the case may be. But I find that a lot of people are just tired because there's so much bullshit that's out there, and then when you meet that person again, like I said earlier, you find that everything they said, it's like, okay, you either lied about your weight, or not your weight, but your height. You lied about like the certain things that you say that your description is.
Yeah, you doctored your
exactly.
image.
So it's kind of like you're not who you said you were. If people were honest, I mean raw honest, and not be like, catfish bullshit, whatever, then I think that it would have been a lot easier for men and women to find the right person. But when you're fucking just randomly throwing out shit, and then you're not actually like staying true to what your description is, then it's like it's gonna be tiring for people to do that. So you're wasting time doing those types of things, right? So exactly, when it goes down to like the whole point of like, if you're going out for a date and certain things are like that, certain things are happening, it's like, yeah, you're not, because if you're not being honest about it, you wouldn't even go out on a date. Like that would have just stopped before going out on a date. Do you know what I mean? And actually like being like, yeah, okay, let's meet up, and then like you meet up and you're like, what the fuck is this?
This ain't the person how I thought.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Because you're texting and you're being like, oh yeah, no, I like doing this. What kind of things do you like to do on a date? Oh, I like to do that kind of. Yeah, okay. So like you set up a time, you set up a place, whatever. And you go out and you're just like, yo, this guy was like, what the fuck, this some whack shit. Or the guy will be like, yo, this girl just ended up being like, nah, like too immature, or do this or whatever. Yeah. You know?
Well, yeah. I've talked to a couple guys about this who have done that.
Yeah.
Not so much doctored themselves to like on social media or on dating profiles. Not doctored themselves, but omitted information.
Yeah.
Right? Just didn't talk about the things that might have been deal breakers.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, why do you do that? And I had a friend of mine, and he was telling me about this date where the girl essentially was like, you're not who I thought you were. And just was like, pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coffee. I'm not interested. And he was upset about that. But I was like, can you really be upset about that? I don't know if you could be upset about that. Because if you're omitting information that makes you, like, if that's you, that's you. Yeah. And you got to own that shit. And and if somebody doesn't like you, like, if you're like, oh, well, if I showed them a photo of me without my hat and they found out I was bald, they probably wouldn't like me. But that's okay. That means they don't like you. That means they're not gonna, oh no, but she's very beautiful and she's like my type exactly. And I know that if I show her that I'm bald, she's not gonna be into it. But she's gonna find out you're bald no matter what you do. You have to be yourself. And just accept that this is me. And it doesn't matter if you're short, if you're fat, if you have small feet. I don't fucking know. Whatever the weird, whatever the thing is. Yeah. You just have to be the best person that you can be. Yeah. And go out into the world being like, I am this case. Yeah. And that's
Take it or leave it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a man and I'm 5'2", and I tell people that I'm 5'7". Yeah. I'm 5. Who cares? Yeah. Short king, man.
Yeah, but there are women that are just like that won't accept.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay.
That's okay.
But then again, like I said, it goes back to the whole profiling thing, right? Like if you're putting up your profile and you're putting up a picture that's 10 years past and you don't look like that, the fuck is that? What? Why? Why are you doing that?
Oh, because I look good in that photo.
I don't give a shit. That's not who you are now. That was 10 years ago. Now you got salt and pepper hair. Yo, bro, listen, you gotta stop with that shit. Women, you gotta fucking stop with that shit. Like honestly, stop, because you're putting yourself through fucking hell and back when you go and see that person and be like, that's not you. Oh, sorry, that was like me like 10 years ago. Yeah, but that's not you now.
The only person you're doing a disservice to
yourself
is you.
Yeah,
is you, because you're making life harder. You're making it so that the girl walks in, looks right at you, looks past you, because she's not looking at you. She's looking at you 10 years ago.
Yeah. But it's not just that.
It's
not just that. It's also like, okay, so if you're now not saying certain things, what does that tell you about your character, about who you are? What are you hiding? What are you not really telling me? What are you not? You know what I mean?
The distrust starts.
That's right, right away. Why are you doing those types of things? Because if I'm not the only one that's going to catch on as a man or a woman that's on these sites or wherever, other people are going to say the same damn thing. So it's just like, do yourself a service and be honest. Honesty is key. I don't give a shit.
Honesty is the best policy.
Even if it doesn't come out right then and there, it's going to come out. It always comes to light.
Everything always comes out in the end.
Yeah.
So just be honest, be truthful, and present your best self forward.
100%.
And it's
like
amazing.
going for an interview.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's amazing how light your heart feels when you don't have to lie about who you are.
100%.
So just be yourself and go out there and have confidence in that, because that is sexy. Being you is sexy.
Yes, 100%. I agree with you on that. Yeah.
And you can only be yourself because everyone else is taken. All right. We're wrapping this up now.
Yes.
We're going to do a fun little game.
Let's do it.
I'm going to give you a category.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a category, and you're going to pick one of the two options.
Okay.
So I'm going to be like this or this.
Okay.
And you go this.
Okay.
And I want it to be fast because I want you to say, so you have to answer a question fast, but you can give an explanation if you want. Like if the answer is red or blue, you can be like red because damn that shit fiery.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever the case is.
Okay.
Or you don't have to. We can just move on to the next one. But I feel like having your insight would be good, and I can agree or disagree too.
Okay, go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Round one. This is where I need like the. This is where I need like the Mortal Kombat. Round one. Fight. Okay. So round one is first dates.
Okay.
First date, coffee date or dinner date?
Coffee date.
Yes?
Yes.
Why is that? I haven't answered this, but why? Because I agree with you.
It's short, sweet. It's not timed.
Yeah.
It's very like if you need an exit, you're right there.
I have to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah, because if it's dinner, you gotta like, okay, what is it that you want to eat? You gotta wait for the waiter to come back in, take your order, then you gotta finish, and whether or not you have dessert or not, you're still sitting there at the table. So it's like quick in and out. If you're not vibing it,
coffee.
Thanks.
I agree. So it's interesting.
Yes.
I agree from the woman perspective. I would always be like, if I'm showing you enough interest to go out on a date with you, I'll go on a dinner date first with you because that means I actually genuinely like you.
Yes.
And you're not just some random schmuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I understand, this is my insight, having sisters and having a girlfriend now and everything.
Yes.
You want a easy, low barrier to entry where you can sit down and go, wow, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
or you can go, whoa, you're not who you are. What is this, salt and pepper, whatever.
Yes.
And I agree with you.
Okay.
And if I was doing more rapid fire dating or I was unsure about the women, 100% I'd be like, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
No stress. Nice to meet you. Not interested.
Yeah.
Yes. So I agree. Okay.
Okay.
Next one.
Yes.
Texting before the first date, or minimal contact before the meeting, the first date.
Texting.
Yes. So conversation leading up to it.
100%. Because if I'm doing minimum, again, it comes down to, okay, we've talked about, say stupid shit like, how's the weather? Blah blah blah. Your favorite color. That doesn't tell me shit about you.
Right.
When you're texting, it's like you're getting to know how their lingo is, how they talk. You know what I mean? You can pick up things really quickly, especially if you've been in the dating game for a minute, right? So, and then you can kind of be like, okay, yeah, I'm showing some sort of interest. There's some topics that we can discuss further when we're out on a date, wherever that may be, coffee date, haha. But things like that. So it's like, I definitely like the texting before. And they can lead to like phone calls, which is great.
Yeah,
so if you're leading to phone calls before your first date, even better.
So the conversation starts off powerful and strong, and there's not that weird, awkward nerves.
Correct.
And there still will be, but it'll brush off faster.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I would. I've done both.
Okay.
I've tried both with women I've gone out on dates with in the past or whatnot. I've done both. I love the mystery that comes with minimal contact, especially because I know that in a social setting I'll be okay. So I'll find some common ground to work out.
Yeah.
And I also I understand like texting, I'm behind it, especially when you're communicating with people and partners and you have to. But I like personal I like having that, but I'll say that I understand on the other person's side, especially on a woman's side.
Yes.
They want to understand who you are and everything. So I would agree with you.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
First date, dressing up fancy or casual and comfy? Casual and comfy.
Casual and comfy. I'm not saying like high heels, short skirt. Like casual and comfy, like not track wear. No track wear, please. Unless it's like, like winter time and if you've chosen like a really casual setting, dress for that occasion. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're saying coffee shop can be sweater Like, do you know what I mean? To me,
yeah.
it could be like a sweater or whatever. It doesn't have to be like high heels, nice
on your tippies.
Yeah, a nice like, you know, summer dress. Like, listen, ladies, if you want to go ahead and do that, it's your prerogative.
Just something like you stood up, you woke up in the morning,
yes.
you brushed your teeth, you combed your hair.
Yes.
You took the extra 2 seconds.
Yes.
Okay.
You looked presentable.
Right,
you don't look like a
you
fucking
wore
bum.
You wore a nice shirt,
yeah,
no wrinkles.
Stains, yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to dinner, then I would always say dress fancy.
Yeah.
But then I'd also add on to that if the guy is taking the girl, or the girl's taking the guy, whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
But if the guy's taking the girl somewhere nice, then I would say that wherever you're taking the girl will reflect what they wear.
Correct.
So you're taking her to Macca's, to Mickey D's, McDick's. Then if she wears sweaters and sweatpants, you guys go, oh, why don't you dress up? Where'd you go?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, at least
take account to the setting, the atmosphere that you're planning on going to meet, because then obviously you guys should know to gauge that shit. We shouldn't have to tell you.
All right, I think we're gonna have different opinions on this.
All right.
Or we could have the same opinion, but I know people will disagree with it. Okay. Picking them up. Mm-hmm. Not. I think we'll say the man picking up the woman.
Okay.
Or the woman meeting the man there, like they're both meeting at the place for a first date.
Meeting, 100%.
At there.
Meeting at the place.
See.
100%. I am more like that because I don't want somebody to know where I live, even if it's just like the plaza by my street. You know my general area, because you don't know if this person's gonna be some stalker shit going on afterwards, or you're just not vibing it or whatever. But they still know the general area. Yeah. So I prefer, even if you ladies don't drive, if you men don't drive, fine, whatever, Uber, find a way to get to the meeting spot. But I am one to never really be like, hey, pick me up here. Now it's different if one date that I went on, the guy was like, okay, where do you want to meet? I'll drive. I said, no problem. I don't have a problem driving. I'll meet you at the parking lot here. But I still drove it to that parking lot. We still went.
He drove.
Yeah, he drove.
You guys drove together.
Yeah,
but you
place.
Drove somewhere else.
Yes, that's
an
right.
intermediary location.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is okay with me, but I prefer to meet at the spot that we have agreed to meet. Again, whether that's Uber, bus, cab, I don't care. Whatever.
I'm gonna say I agree with you, and I think that especially if we're like based on what you're saying, it sounds like there's a lot less preliminary going on.
Oh, that's
so you
just
know
for
them
safety
less.
First. That's why. That's
Safety
why I'm big on that safety.
I wasn't even. This is a man viewpoint, or I would be told that this is a man viewpoint. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not even thinking like, oh my god, if she knows where I live, blah blah blah. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I would like to pick her up and take her because it'd be nice to, open the door for her, 100%. Meet her at the door, give her flowers, whatever, all that 100%. Nice stuff.
Yes.
So I like, and I also think there's something sweet about the car ride to dinner and the car ride back from dinner. So I would say that, but I also understand on a first date, especially if it's like a coffee shop, it should be, we'll meet there, we'll hang out, we'll have a coffee, and then we'll go our separate ways at the end. Yeah. If the date evolves, it evolves.
Yes.
But let's save the picking up to the second, third, once the date's down the line a bit, once we know each other a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Bing, 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 round 2.
Fight!
Relationship red flags.
Oh my gosh, okay. What's the points for these ones?
Okay. Slow texter or over texter?
Oh, red flag. Slow texter.
Slow texter, red flag. Okay.
That for me is a red flag. Yeah.
We're gonna speed through because I wrote too many questions.
Go on, yeah.
Okay. Too clingy or too distant?
Oh, red flags. This is part of the red flags.
Red flags.
Too clingy or too distant?
First date. Or relationship. Okay. Too distant?
Yeah.
I agree with you, and I hate that I agree with you because we're talking too distant and too okay. No, I agree with you. Too distant is like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
They always talk about their ex or never talk about their past at all.
Oh.
I know exactly.
Wait. This is reference. We're all going back to red flags.
We're going to red. This category.
First dates.
No. This is red flags in a relationship.
Okay.
They're always talking about their exes, or they never talk about their past at all.
Okay.
Which is the red flag?
More
red flag.
To me, it's more like not talking about their past at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with you completely.
I'm big though. I'm bad because I'm big on talking about my exes a lot, and that to me, I find that for guys, you can kind of gauge, and they're just like, oh, I don't want to hear that, like, you know. And I get that, but yeah, I think for me, it's the other one.
I think my thing on that is, I feel like when they're talking about their exes a lot, you're like, in my side, I'm like, so go back to your ex. Like, I don't care to hear about your ex. I would prefer them not to talk about their past at all, under the pretense that it's just not relevant. Yeah. But when we go out and, like, I don't know, we go to a restaurant and they see some fucking, I don't know, pumpkin ravioli, and they like, go, oh, this is like what my Nona used to make me, or something like that. Yeah. So that's what I would say, but I do agree with you. Okay. Jealous but loyal, or chill but detached?
Yo, where did you get these? Jealous but loyal.
Or chill but detached. So, you know, jealous and loyal, they're your ride or die. Yeah, yeah. But if you're talking to a guy at the club, or you're out at a restaurant, and they go to the washroom, and you know the waiter stops and has a 10-minute conversation or a 2-minute conversation with you, they're like, well, what the fuck was going on there? Okay. That, or you're at the club, you're talking to a guy, he buys you a drink, whatever. The guy's like, whatever, it's, you know, you're getting a free drink, good for you. Yeah. But they're kind of, you don't feel like they're ever really there.
Oh my God, that's a hard one. Because I've been in a relationship where it was jealous and like the first one, I would say now I don't mind me being able to freely do all those other things. So I would say the second one. Be a little bit detached. Yeah, chilled and detached.
But detached.
Yeah, and if you need to bring up the conversation at another point or later on,
I agree.
Then go ahead. That's fine.
I think, I know I'm talking on, like, I'm okay with it on a minuscule scale, because, like, if you can get away with anything, then there's just not love going on. For sure. Like, there's 100%. Not, their relationship, you are supposed to be, like, when it breaches a certain barrier, then that's where you call it. Right. But I do agree with you. It's nice to be able to go out into the world and, like, get a drink and go to a bar and interact with people of the opposite sex without your partner going, I know you're cheating on me. I know you're doing this.
Yeah, because that happened the last time, like one time, and I was just like, well, why are these guys sitting at your table? Yo, listen, I didn't ask them to come sit at my table. My girlfriend asked them. She thought it would be nice, whatever. Well, now you're talking to other. Yo, listen, you went way off left field. Like, honestly, and I don't like that. No.
Okay.
About that. Go on. Yeah.
Round 3.
Okay.
Ideal partner vibes.
Okay.
So what it makes them more an ideal partner?
Okay.
Someone super funny or someone deep and philosophical?
Funny.
I agree.
I need laughter in my life.
I mean, I'm a sucker for philosophical questions and talk.
Yeah. But it can't be always serious. I'm sorry.
Not always serious.
Short for that.
That's a good point. If you could always have always serious or always funny, I think always funny is probably better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Adventurous and spontaneous or structured and reliable?
Nah, adventurous and spontaneous. Oh man, fucking right all the way.
Acts of service or words of affirmation?
Ooh, acts of service.
Okay.
Because I'm like that, you know me.
Fair. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Same interests as you, or completely different but open-minded?
I would like to have somebody that same interest.
Same interest.
Yeah.
Not someone who you're like, oh my God, let's go dancing, and they're like, I'd rather go play golf.
Yeah.
But sure, I can go dancing.
Yeah, but then that leads to the, when are we gonna go and do the dancing? Because again, you've done you want to talk the talk, but now let's go. So when that conversation comes up again, it's like, you said you wanted to do this. Yeah, but I'm not feeling it. But babe, you wanted to do this, and we're not still doing it. So then the conversation goes right back around. Yeah.
Last round. Round 4.
Okay.
Breakups and moving on.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. The best way to end. Okay. Slowly fade out or have a dramatic final combo?
Oh my God. From my point of view, I would, that can be either way for me, honestly. Because it's happened both ways. Depending on the situation, I would go fade out. Like, especially if things are already going wonky and I have nothing more to say because it's already been said throughout the whole time that we've been together, or it's been brought up at some point, I'm not even going to rehash it. Like, no. Yeah. But if it's something that is warranted, then yes, I would have a conversation, but I would not try to go too in depth of it, because it's like it's on its way out, and both people know it's on its way out. So in depth, no. Ghosting, you know who did that. We know who did that. I warranted an answer, but you said no. There's no reason for that because of blah blah blah, and I'm like, no. You can't just ghost somebody and then come back into their life again. Who does that? That's fucked.
I would say dramatic final convo.
Okay.
And that's just because I would rather have a concrete finish that says this is the conversation we had, that we laid it all out and we're done. Then
closure for you is important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say having closure, having bow tying it. I would say that's more important than letting it fizzle out. Unless if it's like a ting. If it's just a ting.
Yeah.
Fine. Let it fade out.
Yeah.
That. Not when you're not emotionally involved
yes.
that much, it can fade out. That's fine. You both go your separate ways.
Correct.
But in a relationship setting, even in a friendship, it's like if you both go your separate ways, that's okay. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
But in a deep actual relationship where you both have shown commitment, and we're talking like a longer period where you've developed all that, final, go out with a bang.
Yeah.
Much better.
Okay.
Staying friends with an ex, or cutting them off completely.
If you can maintain a friendship, and I mean friendship, I'm not talking like let's get together for a little
a little cardio, baby.
Like one of those like booty call shit things. Fine, I will remain friends, but obviously boundaries have to be. I don't want to know about your romps around with fucking Mary, Sue, Sarah. Fucking I don't care anymore. Right? But certain situations and circumstances that have happened in my life, I've cut them off completely, and I'm okay with that. So to me, it depends on the circumstance.
You need to cut it.
Yeah, and necessarily when I see them, I'm more like I stay in my own friggin' corner and in my own lane, and I don't expect you to come up to me and talk to me. I don't care. I don't even have to look. I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah. No.
An ex is an ex for a reason, as they say.
Well, I always like the analogy of how do you grow? So you take a seed,
yes,
and it grows into a tree.
Yes.
How can you take that tree and smush it back down into a seed? You can't.
No.
So you have to let the tree die.
Yeah.
And that's
Which
okay.
Means cut that fucking tree down and leave it. Don't replant.
No. Fucking don't ever go back there. Okay. Seeing your ex move on quickly, or being the first to move on but feeling guilty.
Wow, these are hard questions.
We like to make it juicy here.
I know. Clearly.
I have an interesting answer to this one.
Okay, what was it? Seeing your ex move quickly?
Move on quickly, or you move on quickly, but feel guilty about it.
I think I would...
essentially, feel sad or feel guilty.
I think I would be sad. The first one.
Yeah.
I think it would be sad. But I mean, I've done rebounds. So that's what you would call the second one, a rebound. I've done rebounds, and I wouldn't necessarily say feel guilty, but I like when I was with that person or whoever that may be. It's like you're really trying to gauge, is it a rebound? And there are times when it didn't feel like a rebound, but I think there were some sort of aspects of it that were a rebound. But no, I'd rather see my ex move on, and that's fine. Even if that means that takes me time to find my person, you can move on. I'll be sad, but you know what? It's really making me realize more and more we were not meant to be. Our time had passed, and that's that.
I'm gonna say it like this, boys. Another note for you in your notepad. The last act of love that you can do for a woman that you've been in a relationship for a long time,
yes, is
to make her hate you. And I don't mean that in like a berate her and say terrible things, but in the sense of when you go out, you make sure that she leaves that last final big bang conversation being like, fuck that guy. I'm so glad we're done. And the reason I say that is because women are very beautiful, emotional creatures, and the last thing that you want is her being stuck on you because you ended so sweetly. So the last great act of love that you can do is making sure that tree is fucking dead.
Yeah.
and it sucks for you as the man because you know that hurting her is going to hurt you deeply.
Yeah.
But it's better that you preserve that emotional and the femininity that comes with women than letting your ego and ruining her in the sense of being too kind and letting her always think about what could have been.
Yeah. So, but to that point, I feel like when men do certain things or treat a woman in a way that is not right, and that goes for women too, you are now tainting that person.
Yes.
To possibly be more jaded to the next potential suitor.
True.
Meaning that you're kind of like, they used to be a sweet person in many different aspects, but because the man or woman has totally fucked them up, and maybe repetitious cycles of these people have come into their lives thinking that they were the one for whatever reason, have fucked them up so royally beyond belief that now that genuine man or woman that now comes into your life that you could see as potential partner, you're starting to fuck that up because of everything that has happened in your past. So if you're gonna, and this is for everybody, if you're gonna be in a relationship or you're going to try dating, please be like the type of person that you can try to be as a person. Like, go out there, enjoy life. You only live once, and we understand that. But please be respectful to people. Be sensitive to people. And, like, you know what I mean? If you're not feeling it, cut it. Like, just stop gaslighting. Stop manipulating. Stop doing all these things. Stop trying to bring sex out within the first fucking date or whatever. I mean, like, I get it. There are other options for that. You know what I mean? That goes for men and women. There are other options. But don't leave it so that person that you went on a couple dates with or that you were in a short-term relationship or whatever is so messed up. Please, because love is important. We need a lot of that in whatever aspect that may be, whatever your sexuality may be. We need a lot of that because there's just too much hatred going on. So please, like, love is a beautiful thing between two people. Preserve that. And if you need to bow out gracefully. That's all I need to say. Is like, bow out gracefully. You do not need to shoot up bang bang all over the place, like, you know what I mean? So that next person, step aside so that person can see that man or woman that is there for them. Like, you know what I mean? That's what my take is on the whole dating scene. It's just like, it's good, just, you know, be safe out there and, you know, enjoy every minute of it.
And what a beautiful way to end the episode.
Absolutely.
Go out there, have fun, be safe, treat people respectfully.
Correct.
Love yourself, love other people, and just try to be the best person you can be.
Every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
So thanks, guys.
Thanks.
That's episode 2, and yeah, you'll see us in episode 3 very soon.
Yes, please don't forget comments. We will figure all of that.
We're gonna do a poll or a submission form so we can talk about certain topics or stories. If you guys want to give us stories that shit you got through,
or if there are topics that you want us to discuss.
Yep. You can add that. We're gonna do a Reddit thread so that we can get some engagement going and we can talk about all the things that we talk about. You guys can answer the questions how you feel, and like, comment, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts, and we're on Spotify. So come hang out.
Yes,
come chat.
and like and share. Please pass it along.
All that stuff. And talk to you guys soon.
Till next time. Bye.